All right, so this is the story. This is episode 4. So this is the story of how Jennifer and I met and started dating. So I was working at Winn-Dixie on Sundays, and then Mondays I was working at Napa Auto Parts Monday through Saturday. I had turned 18, so anyways, so one Sunday Jennifer came in and she caught my attention right away, and so I made sure that I was bagging her groceries. Well, every time she came in, I made sure that I was bagging her groceries. And I would try to talk to her and offer to, like, take her buggy out and all that stuff. Then one day she asked me, she's like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 18. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, when do you work? So I told her, you know, I worked Sundays here and Monday through Saturday at Napa Auto Parts. And she's like, oh, okay. And then, anyways, we're talking, and let me preface this part right here. So I was very shy, basically just very shy when it came to talking to like women. This next part, I don't want you to think that I was like some kind of like slick ladies man or anything like that. I was absolutely not. Anybody that knew me knows that. I didn't have the confidence or anything like that. So I just got to say that before this next part. So fast forward, the fair is coming into town, and something that I asked all my customers, you know, I'm like, hey, are you going to the fair? And she said, well, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about asking a friend of mine if she wanted to go, but I'm not sure if she wants to go or not. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, me and my friends, we're going this Friday. I'm like, maybe I'll see you there. And she's like, oh, maybe. And I was like, wait, I'm like, if your friend doesn't want to go, are you still going to go? And she goes, well, probably not. And I'm like, well, if she doesn't want to go, why don't you come with me and my friends? And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, I'll let you know. And I was like, all right, cool. So she was going to come by Napa. Monday rolls around. She came by Napa. She's like, hey, my friend doesn't want to go. I'm like, all right. So she gave me her phone number and all this stuff. And I was going through some things at home. I was getting ready to move out of my house. That was a whole nother thing. But anyway, so I was over at my buddy's house. It was on a Wednesday. I was like, hey, I'm like, let me use your phone. I'm going to call this girl. And he's like, all right. So I call her up, and and so anyways, so Jennifer's like, hey, you know, I was thinking, I really don't know you that well. And I'm like, well, do you want to get together before we go out on Friday so you can get to know me better? And she's like, sure. She's like, what are you doing? I look around. I'm sitting at this trailer, in my buddy's trailer, because I had just moved out of my house. I'm like, nothing. And she's like, well, do you want to come over or whatever? So I said, sure. So I went over there. We hung out, we talked and everything, and then went out on Friday to the fair, and we've been together ever since. So then I left for the Army in July of '98, and we stayed together. And then our engagement and marriage and everything, that's a whole nother video. But yeah, so that's the story of how I met Jennifer and started dating her. Believe it or not, I was not a ladies' man at all.